Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a chilling narrative that just masterfully blends supernatural mystery with pure psychological horror. Picture this for a second. A pitch-black, decaying room, deep inside an abandoned military communication station in the mountains of northern Pakistan. It's been left to rot for over 30 years. There are hanging cables, rusted equipment, and thick fog creeping through the corridors. And cutting through decades of heavy dust is a single, haunting green indicator light. Now, every abandoned place has a story, right? A reason why the voices there stop speaking. But what happens when a voice never actually stopped and just waited for someone to finally listen?
So I want you to put yourself directly in the shoes of an urban explorer for a moment. You're standing entirely in the dark with only a faintly glowing green light for company. Just ask yourself, if an unplugged radio asked for your name in the dark, would you answer? The dangerous allure of forgotten, decaying places is absolutely undeniable. But as we'll see, this story isn't just about exploring a rusted-out building. It's a descent into profound psychological dread, where the very atmosphere turns against you.
Okay, let's dive into part 1, the Forgotten Mountain Station.
The year is 2026, and we're following a guy named Hamza. He's a documentary filmmaker in his early 30s who specializes in exploring abandoned places. He knows that the more dangerous the location, the more views he gets online. He's driven by curiosity and, honestly, a bit of arrogance. He is completely unaware of the cinematic nightmare he's about to step into. This location isn't just empty. It has a heavily documented dark history. There's no electricity. There are no caretakers. Just peeling paint, broken windows, and rusted radio towers standing like skeletons. The locals don't avoid this place because of simple ghost stories. They avoid it because every few years, someone just vanishes. No bodies are ever found. Only their equipment is left behind, alongside one strange recording.
Hamza actually got drawn to this place by a totally anonymous email. It contained exact coordinates in just this single, ominous sentence. Don't listen to frequency 9.71 after midnight. No name attached, no further explanation, just that warning. Hamza, thinking purely of his viewers, literally laughed it off. He packed up his cameras, his microphones, and his night vision gear, treating a terrifying supernatural reality as just another piece of highly clickable content.
Which brings us to Section 2, frequency 9.71 at midnight.
So Hamza gets there right at sunset. Inside the main control room, he finds dozens of dead analog radios buried under thick layers of dust. But there's this one crazy anomaly. One radio's power light is glowing faintly green, even though there is zero electricity in the building. He sets up his camera, figuring someone just left hidden batteries, and starts filming his intro. The first few hours are totally ordinary, but the atmosphere shifts dramatically as midnight approaches. At exactly 11:58 p.m., that glowing radio switches on entirely by itself, filling the room with loud static. Hamza actually smiles, thinking he's capturing gold. But then, right on the dot at 12 a.m., the static abruptly stops, and the room goes unnaturally silent.
Out of that dead silence, a woman whispers, "Can anyone hear me?" The source material describes this moment with just incredible tension. The voice wasn't muffled by static at all. It sounded impossibly clear. It sounded exactly as if she was standing directly behind him. Hamza turns around, but the room is empty. Then the radio crackles again, pleading, "Please don't answer."
But Hamza, still playing to the camera, makes a massive, fatal mistake. He leans into his microphone and says, "I can hear you." 5 seconds of dead silence pass, then 10. Suddenly, the woman lets out a scream of absolute blood-curdling terror. "You answered." The radio explodes with static, and at the exact same moment, every single electronic device in the room, his cameras, his lights, his watch, just fails. Total, crushing darkness swallows the scene.
Moving on to Section 3, the invisible footprints.
When Hamza finally manages to get just one flickering flashlight working again, the true psychological horror of this story takes hold. It's not about jump scares here. It's about creeping, immersive dread. The environment itself turns against him. On the thick, dry dust of the floor, a single, wet, bare footprint appears out of absolutely nowhere. Then a second one. Then a third. Something invisible is walking. And it isn't walking away. It is walking directly toward him, until the footprints stop right in front of his boots.
While he's staring in shock at the empty space in front of him, the radio speaks again, offering a chilling warning. Don't let it know your name. Completely disoriented and terrified, Hamza barely whispers, "What?" But he is instantly answered, and not by the woman's voice. He is answered by an exact, perfect replica of his own voice saying, "I'm Hamza."
The flashlight dies again. When it finally flickers back on, the sensory horror just redlines. The room suddenly smells like freshly dug earth. Slow, heavy breathing moves all around him, behind him, above him, underneath the floorboards. The cracked concrete wall is suddenly illuminated, revealing thousands of faded names written in different languages. And right in the center, dripping in wet black ink, is one fresh name, Hamza.
This leads us to Section 4, a shift in reality.
At this point, Hamza completely panics. He grabs whatever equipment he can carry and runs outside into the cold night air. But the psychological horror has expanded into a full-blown supernatural trap. He is literally no longer in 2026. His vehicle, gone. The road he drove in on is completely erased. The station now sits in the middle of an endless, thick forest. His GPS just reads no signal, and his phone display shows the year 1993. He walks for hours into the woods, but no matter which direction he runs, the path always loops back. He has constantly returned right to the decaying building, where that green radio is still waiting.
Now we hit Section 5, the faceless shadow.
Trapped in this impossible loop, Hamza re-enters the station. The tension dials up incredibly here. A new transmission comes through the radio, but this time it's a chorus of voices. Children, soldiers, women, old men, all speaking in unison. They warn him, "Don't trust the silence, it walks." And immediately those invisible footsteps begin circling him again. Papers start floating, doors creak open on their own, and the shadows stretch unnaturally. Then comes the ultimate moment of dread. Every single dead radio in the entire building suddenly activates at once. Hundreds of voices scream a single command: "Don't make eye contact." Hamza is frozen. How on earth can you avoid eye contact when there is nothing visible in the room?
Then, his flashlight catches it at the end of a dark hallway. There are no monsters with exaggerated features here. No gore, no blood. It is simply a human-shaped absence, a darker patch inside the deep shadows of the hallway itself, shifting unnaturally, almost like smoke trying to imitate a physical body. Where the face should be, there is only an empty void. Yet, Hamza can feel it staring directly into him. The woman on the radio begs him to close his eyes. He hesitates for just a second too long. He shuts them, only to hear a whisper inches from his face. Too late.
Which brings us to our final section, the final warning.
The eerie midnight atmosphere eventually breaks, and objective reality kind of reasserts itself. Morning sunlight cuts through the broken windows and the thick dust of the abandoned station. Search teams, who are alerted to Hamza's coordinates, finally arrive at the scene, and the aftermath is chillingly neat. Authorities recovered everything: his cameras, his backpack, even his shoes, left exactly where he had been standing. The only thing missing was Hamza. He had vanished without a trace, joining that long, terrifying list of names on the concrete wall.
Naturally, the authorities reviewed the camera footage. Most of it was just a completely ordinary exploration. But they never released the final 30 seconds to the public. In that last clip, the camera just sits on the floor, pointing down an empty, shadowy hallway. Hamza can be heard crying in the dark, repeating frantically, "I won't tell you my name." And then, a calm second voice, an exact replica of his own, answers him from the shadows. "You already did."
So, this leaves us with a truly provocative final thought. Radio enthusiasts say that every year, on that exact date at midnight, frequency 9.71 comes alive again. A frightened woman asks if anyone can hear her, and someone always answers. So, if you're ever tuning through the static late at night, remember what we talked about today. Stay silent. Because as this story proves, some voices aren't trying to escape the dark. They might just be waiting for someone to replace them. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Stay curious and stay safe.